In the world of academia, particularly in PhD research, the pursuit of knowledge is often painted as an elegant, linear progression towards enlightenment. But the harsh reality is that you experience more failure than you ever imagined. However, don't look at the failure as your adversary because it's not. It's a rite of passage when you're studying a PhD. You learn a lot of important lessons from your failed experiments. Studying a PhD is an exhilarating journey that's filled with discovery and innovation. But the harsh reality is most of your experiments will fail. And to make matters worse, most of the results produced by your experiments will be useless, which can be extremely frustrating. However, I want you to know that this is expected and is part of the PhD journey. It's not a sign of inadequacy or incompetence on your part. It's just how the cookie crumbles when you're studying a PhD. Another note to make is that most experiments don't lead to breakthroughs on the first try. So don't feel like a failure when such moments occur. In fact, embrace the failures because you learn what doesn't work sooner rather than later, which sets you up for success. To quote the great Thomas Edison, every wrong attempt that is discarded is another step forward. Or his most famous quote, which is, "I've not failed, I've just found 10,000 ways that don't work." Similarly, your failed experiments are just methods that don't work or have failed to work for you to meet your PhD research goals. All you need to do is find the one solution that works to prove your PhD hypothesis, and you're golden. Each time an experiment fails, it's not a step backwards, it's a step forward. Like I mentioned earlier in that Thomas Edison quote, it's an opportunity to learn and understand what went wrong, to adjust and refine your experiments, and to develop patience and resilience because believe me, you're going to need both of those to get through your PhD. Now, I want to be clear here. I'm not saying you're just going to breeze past all your failed experiments and wipe them away like the dirt off your shoulder. The failures will cause you to have negative thoughts and feelings, but it's up to you to be aware of this and to not let it derail you in your pursuit of your PhD. Remember, failure is a necessary part of the PhD process, and embracing the missteps brings you closer to the breakthroughs you're looking for. During your PhD, your ideas will evolve and transform. As you dive deeper into your research, you'll gain new insights and absorb knowledge from a variety of sources. Your initial hypothesis will most likely change. This is a sign of your growth throughout this process, and it shows that you're open to learning, adapting, and refining your approach, which is what a PhD is all about. Continuous learning, adapting, all whilst conducting independent research. Resilience is the key to overcoming failure and achieving success in your PhD. A resilient mindset allows you to bounce back from setbacks, stay motivated, and maintain your enthusiasm for your research. Never forget that every renowned academic and inventor has faced countless failures on their way to success. Elon Musk is one of the richest and most famous engineer, innovator, inventor, and scientists of our time. Okay, I'm not sure if he counts as a scientist, if I'm being honest, but we'll roll with it. He has had to embrace a lot of failure in his innovative journey, from PayPal to Tesla, SpaceX, I think Solar City somewhere in there, and now Twitter, or X as he's rebranded it to. You know what? I'm just going to take this moment to just say, Elon, I like you. You're cool. But you got to sort out this Twitter X branding issue because it's a bit of a mess. Just saying. Anyway, stay focused. I believe at one point in the 2010s, he was having heart palpitations, struggling to sleep, and on the verge of having a nervous breakdown. Because both Tesla and SpaceX were on the verge of collapsing and going into bankruptcy. And Elon was in a position where he was going to have to choose which company he was going to save and which one he was going to sacrifice between the two. But at the stroke of midnight, I believe it was like a Christmas Eve, a decade or so ago, he managed to secure funding that allowed him to keep both companies afloat. And now they've soared to incredible heights. I mean, Tesla, I think, just before the pandemic, was one of the most valuable companies on the planet, if I'm not mistaken. I believe it's still up there. I haven't looked in recent months, but it's definitely worth potentially a few hundred billion. Probably the same thing with SpaceX. So, hey, just saying. Now, you might be thinking, well, Elon Musk just had to secure extra funding to keep both his companies, and he didn't really need to persevere through any sort of struggle. But you have to remember that he had been dealing with a lot of failure before that, especially with SpaceX, which literally had rockets blowing up left, right, and center. I mean, the amount of failed rocket launches that they had was ridiculous during that time period. I mean, people tend to forget, obviously, because now kind of everything's a bit more stable with SpaceX, but it was a mess a decade and a half ago. But throughout all that struggle, he stayed resilient and embraced the failures as stepping stones towards eventual success, which, one might argue he's there now. I don't know if he sees it that way, but the rest of us definitely see it that way. So, Similarly, you need to have a resilient mindset. Granted, you're not building the next Tesla or SpaceX, but your PhD can give you heart palpitations and sleepless nights if you're not careful. Embracing the failures and persisting in the face of them is what transforms you from a good researcher into a great one. Never be discouraged by your failed experiments or the fact that you need to change and adapt to your ideas. Instead, celebrate them as educational milestones. They shape your PhD journey and contribute to your growth as a researcher. The road to success is paved with numerous challenges, and it's your determination to persevere that will set you apart in academia. So there you have it, my fellow academics and aspiring PhDs. Embrace failure and don't try to avoid making mistakes. Instead, learn from them and grow stronger as a researcher to give yourself the best chance to successfully complete your PhD. I want to be clear that your PhD journey is about so much more than just success. It's about growth, learning, and paving your own unique path in the world of academia. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button, share the video with your fellow researchers, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more insights into PhDs and the world of academia. Let's celebrate the power of resilience and make our mark on the world of academia. Until the next time, keep embracing those failures and never stop working towards success in your PhD. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Signing out.